Verjetno vsi vemo, kako izgleda odpirat za buteljke, tisti zavit. Američani mu rečejo corkscrew in je dejansko tudi en del steze na Laguni Seki v Ameriki in je izjemno tehnično zahteven.
Ja, gre za poseben spust. Pravijo, da za kar 3 nadstropja se spustiš v globino in potem sledi relativno zahteven ovinek. Ta zahteva tako od voznika veliko znanja, pa tudi poguma, od avta pa resnično dobre vozne lastnosti.
In corkscrew oziroma odpirat za buteljke je preizkusil tudi Miha.
No, če ste doma, če so vam video dirke, bodi si prek vaših telefonov ali pa na vaših domačih konzolah, vse malo blizu, potem točno veste, kateri ovinek sem pravkar odpeljal. Dame in gospodje, corkscrew Laguna Seca.
In to v analogni obliki, takšni, ki navdušuje po vsem svetu.
It's like a roller coaster where you're doing the steering, you're doing the driving, you get to choose your line. That's part of the thrill is coming in there at 100 miles an hour, hitting the brakes, choosing your line, and then launching over and down 3 stories. There's just no track like it that I've experienced.
No matter how fast or slow you're going, you get that weightless feeling going down, and it's people talk about it all over the world. It's like nothing else.
A kako visok je dejansko ta padec?
World famous corkscrew is about a 3-story drop.
It is a 7-story drop from the top.
It drops you 5.5 stories.
No, uradni podatek je ta zadnji, torej 5 nadstropij in pol, kar v bolj znanih merskih enotah pomeni 18 metrov direktnega višinskega padca na komaj 137 metrih dolžine. In to v kombinaciji z dvojnim ovinkom.
So you have to aim for a tree. If you get it wrong, you miss the apex.
Corkscrew is a fun turn. You can almost do it with your eyes closed if you've been on the track enough times, but you have to know where to turn, what the angle is. It's forgiving if you know the turns. So you have to know what speed to take it going in. What happens is you turn down and it comes back. But as you're coming into it and you're making the turn, if you're carrying too much speed, the tires won't hold. It'll drift across and you're in the dirt and you don't want to turn, because if you do, you're going to rotate the car and you want to just drop on down, come out of the dirt, get back on the track, and you're good. But if you make any of the wrong adjustments, you're going around.
Below the hill, you're looking up, you can't see the other side, so you got to really depend on the course worker stationed at the corner there. If somebody's spun on the bottom, they'll flag you. You're really dependent on them. Thank goodness they do such a great job.
The video games do it pretty good justice. I mean, it's got its tricks, but once you kind of learn the secret to doing it, you can be a master at it. The difficult part when you're racing someone at a very high speed and you're trying for that last, 1/10 of a second to get the edge on them. If you miss the brakes somehow, I mean, you're going into the runoff. There's no way around it.
Corkscrew je eden najbolj slovitih dirkaških ovinkov na svetu. V svojo slovito testno stezo ga je vključil tudi Porsche in to kot enega najbolj zahtevnih za avto, a za razliko od nemške replike, originalni Corkscrew ni nastal namenoma.
In 1957, when the track was built, they were going around the top of that hill and there was only one way down. Problem was there was a big tree down at the bottom. And so the gentleman with the tractor basically said, hey, how do I get down here? And the person who designed the track said, any way you can. And it was somewhat of a happy accident that it became one of the more iconic turns in racing.
Na tem ovinku se je pripetilo že marsikaj. Tu so dirkači dobivali prvenstva, zgodila pa se je tudi kakšna nedirkaška zmaga.
And my wife and I decided to get married, and I joked around, why get a wedding dress? Why not have a custom set of leathers made and we'll get married on the Corkscrew? And she agreed. We rolled up into Chalks and everyone got off their motorcycles. This was during a lap, got off their bikes when we got married. We were the first people to get married on 8A.
Zakonca Chavez sta hitro dobila posnemovalce. Treba pa je priznati tudi, da dirkanje tu ni nekaj originalnega.
This part of the world, sports cars in particular, have really taken root. I mean, going back to the Pebble Beach road racing days, in late 1940s, 1950s. Right here used to be a big kind of military hub. So people would come back from World War II where they saw all these European sports cars and think, hey, I want to do something like that. And that's kind of the genesis of how Pebble Beach road races got started.
Danes je dirkališče zaprtega tipa. Ne moreš priti in odpeljati kroga, moraš se udeležiti dogodka, kakršnemu v žargonu pravimo track day. Vsekakor pa je Laguna Seca eno najbolj priljubljenih dirkališč za tovrstne aktivnosti.
You watch the Formula One tracks and they're all so flat. And I understand the aero and whatnot, but I like a track with topography. So being able to go uphill and downhill and have some turns that are a little banked and some turns that are a little off bank, it just makes it so much more interesting and exciting, I think.
Kakorkoli že, smo v slovitem Monterreyu na obali Kalifornije, kraju, ki ga vsako leto konec avgusta obišče na tisoče bogatašev, da na bližnjem golf igrišču Pebble Beach razstavi svoj ultra drag in ultra ekskluziven starodobni avto. No, tu na dirkališču pa smo se udeležili mnogo manj ekskluzivnega, a zato bolj iskrenega dogodka – Cars & Coffee Laguna Seca. Pitje kave ob superšportnih avtomobilih je nasploh postalo poseben svetovni fenomen. Cars & Coffee je namreč ime enemu najbolj razširjenih avtomobilističnih dogodkov. Praktično vsak vikend se nekje na svetu na kavi zbere skupina lastnikov dragih avtov. Pred meseci se je tak Cars & Coffee zgodil tudi pri nas v Kopru. A Cars & Coffee v Monterreyu je neuraden in tudi netipičen event s tem imenom. In poročamo, da smo tu na Laguni Seci neizmerno uživali v odlični družbi, kajti dirkališče je dovolj odmaknjeno od centra mesta, da tja ne pridejo naključni mimoidoči firci. Tu ni marketinga, ni PR-ovcev, reklamnih avtov, zastav in tako imenovanega brandinga. Da bi izločili nezainteresirano javnost, so določili tudi uro prireditve. Druščina se namreč srečuje dobesedno na jutranji kavi, ob 8 uri zjutraj. Na Cars & Coffee Laguna Seca se torej družijo izključno tisti, ki gojijo pravo navdušenje nad avtomobili.
It's like having a great bottle of wine. These are the last drops of a great bottle of wine. Drive something that was handcrafted, that weighs 1,100 pounds. I guess it's almost romantic. Definitely in the next 10 years, there's going to be a huge shift to electric and eventually autonomous. So, these things are kind of a dying breed. So it's important for me to really experience that and share with my kids.
Izredno nas je na tem srečanju presenetilo, kako brezpogojna je kalifornijska ljubezen do avtomobilov. Na ta neuradni Cars & Coffee so namreč vabljeni prav vsi ljubitelji s kakršnim koli avtom, ne zgolj superšportniki, ki so sicer obvezni na uradnih Cars & Coffee dogodkih. Na Laguni Seci nismo bili z najetim modernim Subarujem deležni niti enega čudnega pogleda, niti enega. Rekli so, naj ga parkiramo kar zraven vseh tistih veličastnih lepotcev. Seveda pa so v Kaliforniji in še posebej v mondenem mestu Monterrey doma bogataši. Tako se tu zbirajo večinoma bogati zbiratelji in avti, s katerimi so se pripeljali, so zares pospešili utrip. Ne glede na letnik, cenovni rang, dejansko je čisto vsak izmed zbranih avtov imel v sebi nekaj tistega, kar preprosto moraš imeti rad. Pa naj bo to suličasta oblika De Tomaso Pantere, rohnenje Mustanga, krom pick-upa lokalnega latino veljaka, rdeča barva klasičnega Ferrarija ali pa škripajoči fedri usnjenih sedežev starega Mercedesa 190. Še bolj pa nas je navdušilo, da to niso zgolj avti za postavljanje pred drugimi, to so avti, ki dejansko pridno nabirajo kilometre. Na sončno soboto je bila tako slikovita obalna panoramska cesta polna tovrstnih čudovitih avtov. Nikaj, na teh cestah resnično dobiš vzorčen primer, da je avto precej več kot pa zgolj sredstvo za premikanje. To je stroj, ki zagotovi užitek.
V Kaliforniji grejo torej avtomobili in pa preživljanje prostega časa zelo lepo skupaj. Tu ni prav nič nenavadnega, če nekdo predlaga, a se gremo malo voziti. Kaj pa v Sloveniji? Tudi pri nas imamo čudovite ceste, čudovite pokrajino in zelo radi imamo avtomobile, pa vendarle z njimi le malo kdo preživlja svoj prosti čas. Bi to spremenili? Kaj pa, če bi se šli malo voziti?